A Gathering of Days, a New England Girl's Journal, 1830 to 1832. A novel by Joan W. Blos. Chapter 18. Wednesday, October 26, 1831. We're going to get through this last chapter. Stop. Hold please. With what amazement did Daniel and I hear our father describe as a prank Monday's happenings. Meanwhile, Mammon has firmly decided that neither Maddie nor I, her daughters, exclamation point in parentheses behind the word daughters, shall continue to be exposed to such common cruelty on a teacher's part. Consequent to all of which, Maddie and I are withdrawn from school starting this very day. So we were told on arriving home, Mammon and Father awaiting our return with news of their decision. Mammon says she will continue our instruction. "'Tis not for naught I'm a teacher," she says, and has already written to Boston for the needed books. Dear Mammon, with her faith in books and ever-ready pen. Daniel was to have studied with us. However, pleading his loyalty to Asa, David, and other boys, he has gained reluctant consent to continue at school. Maddie thinks it a holiday. For all I heard her splain to Asa about our Mammon, who was once a real teacher and not just for summer term. Thursday. One would think it a schoolhouse full instead of just two girls. Mammon announced when breakfast was cleared that she will set the lessons for us every morning early. Then we are to have 2 hours to study. After that, she will hear us and provide correction. Today's attempt, perhaps being the first, was surely comical. At what age, Catherine, my scissors, please, was Pocahontas when Captain John Smith fell into the Indians' hands? And scarcely had I answered, 12. But that she turned to Maddie with the moral catechism. What is justice? It is given every man his due. What is generosity? It is some act of kindness performed for another which strict justice does not demand. What is gratitude? Gratitude is a thankfulness of heart for favors received. Today, however, the familiar words were mixed with exclamations. Dear child, do raise up the pot. Maddie, that sauce is going to scorch. Catherine, watch your stitches. Friday, October 28, 1831. Aunt Lucy Holt is going to have a baby in early spring. Miss Shipman told Mammon this very afternoon. Sunday, October 29, 1831. Nearly the whole of my quilt is pieced. Mammon says we must hold a quilting and that she will speak to Father soon whether the quilting frame will serve or does it need repair. Sunday, the previous day, I think I said Saturday, October 29, 1831. That is correct. Now we're on Sunday, October 30, 1831. Father sat down near me today, just as the Sabbath ended. I had spread my quilt blocks out, assessing them for joining. After a bit, he looked at me clear. Your mother would be glad this day. I knew not how to answer. Presently, thoughtful, he commenced again. This time he had more to say, and which I must try to record exactly for what came afterward. It was an apt choice, he began, for are we not, all of us, wanderers and strangers? And do we not all of us travel in danger or voyage uncharted seas? At once I saw he meant my stranger, who was safe. All hazards survived, and Cassie too, who had been called on a greater journey to rest on the opposite shore. Do I blaspheme to join them thus, the one so fair, the other so dark? One dear and one a stranger. Do I now believe we all are joined, wherever we are, whatever we do, and be we quick or be we dead, fair, dark, dear, or stranger? Monday, October 31st, 1831. Today at last was I prepared to attend to the freeman's lace, at once a sad remembrance and happy messenger. While my tears ran freely down, I laid his gift beside her grave, wrapping with it scented flowers, which we dried at summer's close, lavender and petals of rose and spiced geranium. I have told no one what I have done, nor need to, knowing it right. Tuesday, November 8, 1831. Sophie, once so flibbergibbet, that is, sends good earnings home. All of the mill girls protested their pay, and as 'tis known, no girl in New England would take a place till the issues resolved. The owners knuckled under rather than stop the mill. Perhaps when I attain 15, younger than that I may not go, I shall join Sophie in Lowell, unless by then she is in Ohio, which may be the case. Thursday, November 10. She is helping me to knit a cap for Aunt Lucy's baby. All the stitches must be just so, as we are using the finest of threads. This is woeful hard. I wonder when the baby is born if they'll name her for Cassie, if it is a girl. Wednesday, November 23rd, 1831. Because they are so lately bereaved, we did not engage the Shipmans in Thanksgiving Day. Neither, therefore, did we feast. But going to church, I wore my blue bonnet. Its color is complement to my blue collar, and, as was intended, to the blue in my eyes. Monday, December 12, 1831. Father says he must be certain to purchase our Levitt's Almanac for 1832. Others have spoken with favor of others. But we buy Mr. Levitt's, he being this county and sometime acquaintance besides. Monday, December 19, 1831. Portion of a letter received by Mrs. Shipman. It is from Aunt Lucy Holt, and because it concerns me so greatly, Mrs. Shipman has given it to me, and I, for its safekeeping, thought to attach it here. And would you please inquire of her parents whether Catherine might come to us after the baby is born? I believe her help will be very much needed. I am greatly alone, no friends, and we think her qualified. The academy admits no females, as you know. The district school is poor. But Edward remembers that C is quite clever and would give her private instruction in the usual courses of study. This we propose to regard as exchange for services she provides. We would assure her attendance to church and good attention to health, She will find this a studious house. Edward reads so beautifully. Every evening from 8 o'clock till 10, he engages in his study. I know I cannot begin to tell you the bliss of these short hours. We have already read much in French and some philosophy. We beg the favor of an early reply concerning Catherine's coming. You can provide our address to her parents, and do encourage them. At the start of this journal, I wrote of my wish to stay here forever and ever. Also that I wished to become better and more gladly able to do what I am asked. Today, reflecting on Aunt Lucy's letter, I know I shall find good consequence in whatever is decided by Father and Mammon. Thus it now appears to me that trust and not submission defies obedience. Tuesday, December 20, 1831. I, who've not traveled past Concord nor Keene, am to take up residence hours and hours away. It is the wish of Father and Mammon that I accept Aunt Lucy's post, and they will inform her by letter. I will have ample time to prepare. The baby's not due to be born until spring. Father says I am fortunate. I need not travel till snow and ice are mud. We'll have left the road. Friday, December 23rd, 1831. Mrs. Shipman confided to us she's put away forever the clothes that Cassie wore. She worries that some might consider this wasteful, there being good wear in them yet. But Mammon spoke right out and said that she would. But Mammon spoke right out and said that what she'd done was right. New Year's Day, 1832. How swiftly the year has turned. Winter found spring, and spring became summer. And as Priest Foal would remind us, to everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to weep, and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, and a time to dance. This year, more than others, has been a lengthy gathering of days, wherein we lived, we loved, we moved, learned how to accept. Saturday, January 14, 1832. Today I stood in the shipman's house, my eye admiring the painted scene which Cassie herself had shown me many months ago. There were the elms in tiny leaf, making it spring forever, she'd said. And so it was, and so it is. For though the wind is bitter outside, for Cassie it is spring forever, nor shall she leave that season. Later some woods, neither sought not remembered, presented themselves to mind. Not let every occasion fill, command thy heart to joy. Can it be some hymn once sung, imprinted on my infant sense, although not comprehended? Where come such words? From my own self? Glad, although not unafraid, I am determined to obey, believing that only the forms of instruction is mysterious. Friday, February 3rd, 1832. Heavy snow, knitted all afternoon. Sabbath. Snow again, could not go out. Tuesday, February 7, 1832. We expect the breaking out. It will be the first for Daniel, the second time for me. 'Tis hard to think he was not here, no, nor even known to us, to share the last occasion. Thursday, March 8th, 1832. I am to leave at daybreak, and cannot sleep tonight. Thus I have stolen down the stairs, their ever rough edge known to me, their every rough edge known to me, to sit by a single candle's light, with this my companion, my journal. I wonder if it is common to feel that never is a place so loved as when one has to leave it. There, near the door, my two trunks waited, and folded atop them is my traveling cloak, also the novel Northwood by Mrs. Sarah Josepha Hale. This is a gift to me from Maman. She ordered it from Boston. Father made much of the weight of my luggage and said that anyway he believed I would be home by summer. Yet now is the night still dark and cold. The fire has long since turned to ash, with only the back log glowing. In the next room lie Father and Maman, while in the loft above me Daniel dreams his farm boy dreams, and Mattie, I have no doubt of it, allows herself excursion into my half end of the bed. The very thought recalls me. Forgive me. Good night, dear place, dear house, dear all, good night, and now, goodbye. Providence, Rhode Island, December 9, 1899. My dear, my very dear Catherine, I am grateful for your letter and glad to know you enjoyed the journal I kept when a girl. You ask about the runaway slave. He who was certainly not a phantom, but a real, though tiny part of what was happening everywhere then, and what was going on, what was going to come. I never heard from him again, those same times indeed, for years and years. I used to imagine what would do were there a knock upon the door, and there he was. Curtis. He never came, of course. Joshua Nelson stayed on as a farmer. 2 of his boys went off to fight in the war between the states. One, the younger boy, I think, got killed at Gettysburg. Then Josh signed up to take his place and got wounded pretty bad. It never healed the way it should, him not being young at that time. He died a couple of years ago. We exchanged Christmas cards right up to the end. All of the others have gone now, except me and little Willie Shipman. I still think of him that way, although the last I heard of him, someone was making a party, him turning 75. No, I didn't forget to tell. We have no presents. We have no presents at Christmas, then, nor at birthdays either. The first I saw a Christmas tree must have been in Boston, and I was about 23. Well, I'm going on 83 now, but not about to quilt. There are too many things I know about where I want to see what happens. You, my dear, being one of them, and this new century starting. Do what you can to make it good, and remember, as we used to, that life is like a pudding. It takes both the salt and the sugar to make a really good one. Lovingly, your great-grandmother, Catherine Onesti. P.S. Thank you for telling me about the chair, that it is not worn too badly. After Mama and Father died, it went to my sister Mattie. Maddie never had children, though, and her husband died before her. So when she passed on, it came back to me, and I, having no use for it, then gave it to your mother. You were very clever to have figured that out. C period H period O period. Author's note. A few miles north of Meredith, New Hampshire, a blacktop road cuts off to the left, and it ever had a name no one uses it now. After gently climbing for a mile or more, it passes the site upon which stood the farm I have called the Shipmans. Here a dirt road enters from the right, and traveling north for a few hundred yards, arrives at the house and barn, both restored, where the story takes place. How much of it is true? I started with a handful of facts, an amateur's interest in the history of the region, and the intention to reconstruct life as it was then the house was new. To do this, I worked with documents and books and newspapers of the region, visited museums and small collections, and even explored old graveyards in search of further clues. Some of the journal's episodes are freely adapted from sources consulted, among them the teacher's bodily ouster and the Count of Meredith's surprising and stylish return. But little by little, the figures I imagined became more real than the rest. One August afternoon, when I had been working on the story for some hours, I wandered in the living room, cool, dark, and familiar. There, I had the distinct impression that I had somehow intruded, in time as well as in place. The house belonged, as it always would, to the people who had built it, the Catherines and Cassies, whatever their true names, had never really left. I had only filled in the story, and that is the truth. This ends A Gathering of Days, a New England Girls' Journal, 1830 to 1832, a novel by Joan W. Blos. Thank you for listening.